Hi guys, I'm Taylor. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here and so happy you decided to click on this video. And if you are returning, thanks so much for keeping up with my videos. I appreciate you a lot. So I filmed a full week of eating for you guys. If you guys don't know, I am 20 years old. I am plant-based. That is the label I like to give to it. I'd say I'm like 99.9% perfectly vegan, but I know there's a lot of things that go into that, so I'm not really crazy about labels. So to make it plain and simple for people, I just like to say I do not consume meat, fish, dairy, or eggs. I also lift weights. I train in the gym a lot, and all of my platforms are centered around health and fitness, so I try to eat very high protein, very balanced. That's basically what you'll be seeing throughout this week of eating. I'm not a chef. I don't have time to be making 1-hour recipes, and even if I did have time, I just don't want to. I like my oatmeal and my salads and my veggie burgers and my pasta, and I enjoy life like that. I'm going to take you guys through my journey transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle, as well as some tips, some things I've learned along the way, my opinions for others to be plant-based, all the good stuff. So I guess I'll just start in high school. So my whole life I never enjoyed meat. I never enjoyed eating meat. It was honestly like, if it was on my plate, it was the last thing I was gonna touch. The steak was not something I'd eat. I never liked it. It always kind of like grossed me out. Just wasn't for me. I would be a kid going to McDonald's and order a salad as a child. I was odd, but I've always been attracted to like healthier foods, so this way of eating wasn't a big shock to me. So my freshman year of high school, I went down the rabbit hole of the Freely Banana Girl stage. Would not recommend if you're getting into veganism, and I don't really like the way she promotes veganism currently. She does have some helpful information, but it's not a resource I would direct people to as they're transitioning to being plant-based. But it's how I got here. It's part of the story. I watched a lot of documentaries like Cowspiracy and all that kind of stuff, and it was kind of like a once you know too much, you just can't go back. So I cut out meat. My freshman year of high school, I stopped eating meat. I am now a junior in college, so I was like 16 and now I turned 21 this year. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been like almost 6 years. It was very easy for me. I didn't miss it. The only things that were a struggle were, you know, like finding things to eat at restaurants and stuff like that. But I got used to it very fast, and you'd be surprised how many foods are vegetarian. It's really not difficult at all. And mind you, no one in my family is vegetarian, vegan. I'm the only person in my family that eats how I do, so that was a little bit of a struggle. I'm very used to making my own food and figuring out my own stuff I'm gonna eat, because dinner sets cooked, you know, like I don't really eat. I need to get like my own groceries, so I totally relate to the struggle of if you have people around you that don't want to eat the same as you. You know, the transition can be hard, but where there's a will, there's a way. So since my freshman year, I have not eaten meat. I've eaten it accidentally and had a horrible stomach ache and got served meat on the salad that I got after my high school graduation. I didn't realize there was bacon in it. I ate it and I cried. But I haven't eaten meat since my freshman year of high school. But at that time, I wasn't very healthy about it. I was not conscious of getting protein in. I just stopped eating meat. My diet was a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, chips. But as I got a little bit older, you know, into my senior year, into the beginning of college, I did try to be way healthier about it, and I definitely got out of that like Freely the Banana Girl stage where I was like, just because there's no animal products in it, it's healthy, and a juice with 30 oranges is healthy. No, I didn't think that anymore, and I didn't think that she was the epitome of health. And I actually started to care a little bit more, and I realized and kind of got centered with the idea that the reason I choose not to eat meat is due to environmental and ethical reasons. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I finally actually was doing it in a healthy way around that time. My eating habits weren't totally healthy by then, but that was totally unrelated to my vegetarian diet. Then I went vegan. I went vegan August of 2020. So when I was vegetarian, especially into those later years, like I said, when I actually started to really understand why I wanted to be vegetarian, blah blah blah, I tried to cut out animal products as much as I could, but I was not vegan. So definitely, you know, almond milk. If there was like a dairy-free option where I would get it. If there wasn't, it didn't matter. But if there were vegan options, if I could just avoid really kind of like eating dairy on meals I cook at home, I would do it. I would eat eggs, but you know, I was just conscious of what I was doing. I didn't like to consume like a ton of dairy, but I was not vegan yet. Until August 2020, I went on vacation. It was during like the end of like quarantine. You could like go places. And we just got a little house on the beach with my family, so it was very COVID safe because we weren't in a hotel or anything. It was just my family just in another house on the beach. And we ate a lot of ice cream and it was so good. You know, a little beach town, there's an ice cream shop right down the street. You just get ice cream like every single night. It was fantastic. Then I came home and I was like, okay, that was a lot of animal product for my liking. I don't like eating that much dairy, especially just like back to back to back for like a week. So I was like, I'm gonna do a little 20-day challenge where I just go vegan for 20 days, just because I didn't like eating that much animal at once. Like I said, it's just not something that sits right with my body. And that had nothing to do either with like the health factor of the ice cream. I love dairy-free ice cream. I'm pretty sure, no, yeah, I definitely ate lots of dairy-free ice creams and desserts in the time that I went vegan for 20 days. So it had nothing to do with wanting to go on like a diet after eating ice cream. I just didn't want animal products. So dairy-free ice cream, dairy-free desserts, vegan, all that stuff was on the table, just not milk. And during that 20 days, I realized it was actually not hard at all. And I did it for 20 days and then I didn't want to stop. And now it is May 19th, 2021, and we are still going, and I don't think I will ever stop. It has been such an easy transition, and that is my story with how I went plant-based and how long I've been plant-based. Still to this day, my family, my boyfriend, no one eats like how I do. It's just me and my vegan lifestyle, vibing by ourselves, but we're killing it over here. I don't miss it at all. Luckily, I'm so thankful that so many stores and restaurants and ice cream shops, everyone is so accommodating nowadays. Like, it's honestly rare that I find a place that doesn't have vegan options. I am normally perfectly fine wherever I go. It's not much of a struggle to me at all. Now, it's kind of weird because I think being vegan is such a big part of my life and my health and fitness journey, but I don't talk about it that much on my platforms, and that's just because, one, I know people think vegans are so annoying when all they talk about is being vegan, and I want to break the stigma of that, because you could just be a low-key vegan, which is what I try to be. A lot of people that follow me don't even notice that I'm plant-based because I don't overly share. People don't really notice that there's no meat in what I'm eating. It just looks kind of normal. I really love that people can't tell that I'm vegan just from looking at my content, because I don't want people to be stressed out by it. I also don't want to push it on people. I know everyone's circumstances are so different, and getting access to those food options is not easy for everyone. But I encourage everyone to find something they can do to swap one or two things for something plant-based instead. It's just so great for our environment, and you can do so much. For example, almond milk, oat milk, whatever milk you want, that's such a great swap. Veggie burgers, if you like burgers, maybe try those. Find a plant-based recipe you like and maybe make it once a week. I'm so supportive of any small change someone wants to make. I do think everyone should strive for a diet rich in vegetables, a balanced diet mostly focused on plants, but if meat and dairy, fish are something that fits into your diet, mainly filled of veggies and plants and balanced nutritional amazingness, go for it. I actually couldn't care less what you choose to eat, which a lot of vegans don't really say that, but I couldn't care less. But since we all live on this planet, if you want to make a swap for one or two things, I think that's awesome. And that's so great, and that's doing wonders. If everyone did one thing, think about how much of an impact we could make. I don't know. That's what I strive for. I do not think you are a bad person if you eat meat. I don't think you're unhealthy if you eat meat. Yeah, that's just what I choose to do. You don't have to do it. But if you do want to do it, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. And there's just a few things that I think are key if you're trying to transition to being plant-based. One, always think of how can you add plant-based foods to your diet, not how can you subtract the animal products. If you want to get dessert and you're like, oh, I want to try these vegan cookies, it's not that you can't have normal cookies, you just want to add these vegan cookies into your night for dessert, and that's fine, and they're probably going to taste good. Number two, you really have to be aware of your nutrition. So I know tracking in numbers is not everyone's jam, but I did find tracking very helpful when I went vegan, so I can see how much of each nutrient was in everything I'm eating. I go over my protein a lot. I don't struggle at all, but that took a lot of learning of how to make properly balanced meals, because when you're vegan you don't realize your meals are going to be huge. My bowls are like the size of my face. You're going to be eating a lot of food because vegetables are pretty low in calorie, so you're going to be loading up on the food. Do your research on macros, what foods have a lot of protein, and I highly recommend maybe tracking your macros so you can make sure you're eating enough, because it could be challenging if you don't know. Number three, know that you do not need a label. You don't have to go fully vegan. This is an example I use all the time, but whenever I talk to someone about being vegan, they're always like, oh, but I couldn't give up bacon and cheese. Couldn't give it up. And I'm like, so keep those two things in your diet. Eat your cheese, eat your bacon. Think about all the other animal products, the fish, the chicken, the eggs, the other forms of dairy. So swap those out. Keep what you want to keep. Life is short. Keep what you want to keep. I don't have any connection to foods that are animal products. To me, the vegan alternatives taste just as good, so that wasn't an issue for me. But I know I'm an odd human, and most people are going to miss their real cheese. You can do whatever you want. You don't need a label. Labels are so toxic sometimes. Also, veganism is not a fad diet. I hate when vegan is wrapped into things like keto and like all that stuff, when people loop veganism into it being like a fad diet, because it's not. And I know people can misuse it and make it like that when it's not supposed to be, but it is not. It is not like a diet I'd put myself on. It's the way I choose to live because it makes me happy. It's not a diet, it's not a crash diet, it's not a fad diet, it's a lifestyle, and you can adapt it to however you want it to fit your goals in your life and the things that make you happy. So that's my journey with being vegan. I am like 6 months strong, almost a year actually. No, wow, time flies. Like 10 months now? Like 10 months strong? If you watched then this video, I hope you enjoyed my what I eat in a week, and I challenge you to eat one meatless meal this week. Just one vegan meal. Let me know how you like it. Promise they're good. Be open-minded. Vegan food tastes good. It tastes just like the real thing sometimes. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video every Friday at 7 a.m.